Welcome back once again. At this point in time, one can categorically state that everything is working in favor of Nnamdi Kanu, and that is what it is. I'm going to play the video for you to hear clearly what Fayose came out recently and stated. These things that is actually happening is vindicating Nnamdi Kanu ahead of his appeal before the judges in the Court of Appeal. And a lot of persons are so curious and inquisitive of knowing what Fayose came out recently and made as a statement. I'm going to be showing you how Fayose came out and exposed this particular government's series and clear indication of nepotism. A lot of persons who are not acquainted with that word nepotism is where a government is favoring a particular tribe other than the other, probably political or otherwise. I'm going to be showing you all in full context. This is vindicating Nnamdi Kanu's appeal. Remember that Nnamdi Kanu, in the context of his appeal, he had a lot of things that is actually vindicating him over Justice Omotosho's conviction under a repeal law. I'm going to be showing you all in full context. And one of those grounds at which Nnamdi Kanu is appealing the court case and his conviction is that Justice Omotosho's court failed to resolve what he described as a foundational disruption of the original trial process following the 2017 military operation at his Afaruku residence. He also contended that the court proceeds with the trial and deliver judgment while his plenary objections challenging the competence of the proceedings remain unresolved. Among his relief, Nnamdi Kanu has urged the appeal court to allow the appeal quash his conviction and sentences and discharge and acquit the appellant in respect of all the counts, because Justice Omotosho issued every judgment under a repeal law. I will show you all of this in full context, but before I do that, listen attentively and hear clearly what Fayose came out recently and stated as a clear indication that yes, Nnamdi Kanu is actually truthful in what he stated about the marginalization and the suppression the Igbos are actually facing in this particular country. Listen attentively to him. When we come back, we'll wrap up with other issues.
You are looking for nepotism. You don't need to go far. This government, APC government, starting from Buhari, they are full of that. Nepo na their name. In Nigeria today, our president is Yoruba. Our chief justice of the federation is Yoruba. EFCC chairman is Yoruba. DSS is Yoruba. Attorney General of the federation is Yoruba. Chief of army staff is Yoruba. Even the people that handles our account, Kadoso, is Yoruba. Even FRS is Yoruba. Even INEC is Yoruba. You know their agenda is to keep themselves safe in power by their tribesmen. Nothing else. Look at IGP. IGP, we have Frank Uba there. Frank Uba is 52 years old. He's a super cop. He's a DIG. What is wrong with you saying, Frank Uba, go? You are now our new IGP. But no, he went back to his state in Lagos to pick IGP. And you will sit down there and say opposition are not trying. How can opposition try when now all your tribesmen, now them they power, now them they control things? This is nepotism. You city boy, you are in Imo, jumping up and down like a bugger. But you forget that even your brothers in positions, they don't put them there. Continue to jump like frog. Anyway, government of nepotism think we have what they call federal character. Apply it. No be only your tribesmen good position fit.
Welcome back once again. You listen attentively to what Fayose stated. Now tell me what is not truthful with this statement he made, that this particular government have failed to understand that there is unity in diversity. Look at the appointments being labeled recently. All are centering on the Yorubas and the Igbos. That's actually gotten to the point at which they are going to be appointed to that apex position. They are quite denied. Look at Frank Mba. A lot of persons have reacted that this man is, the age is still on him. and he is the most ranked officer that is supposed to be in assume that particular position as the Inspector General of Police. But at this point in time, he's been denied the second time. A lot of persons are now asking, what is the conviction that somebody who has just barely moved to probably get to 60 and retire has been issued the Inspector General of Police position? So for crying out loud, when will an Igbo man rule this particular country? When will an Igbo man get to the apex position in some of the administrative positions in this particular country? So you see that Isaac Fayose is not far-fetched from what he has stated, and a lot of persons have reacted bitterly regarding what is actually happening. And it goes a long way to tell the city boys movement and all of that, that look at the type of thing that is actually happening to your fellow Igbo brothers. Remember, Nnamdi Kanu made the statement that you will go and work and come back. As a matter of fact, you will go and serve Nigeria and come back in shame. This were the exact words of Nnamdi Kanu, but it's actually coming to pass. Now he's been vindicated because Isaac Fayose has now vindicated Nnamdi Kanu by the statement he made that his people is quite marginalized. Further, let me play some series of videos for you to understand how a lot of persons have reacted towards what is happening. As a matter of fact, vindicating the Igbo and vindicating Nnamdi Kanu and stating that they are not actually the reason why a lot of things are actually going up normally in this particular country. Listen attentively to this northern lady.
Some weeks ago, they entered Kwara State and danced inside the church. Ankeshesu, inside the church. Weeks ago, NJKB, Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School Maga, and abducted 25 pupils and killed their principal. Where is Leah Sharibu today? Where is Leah Sharibu? Where is Leah Sharibu? Deborah was set ablaze in Sokoto. And to my greatest surprise, lawyers came out. Not that they were hidden, they came out openly to defend those Islamic extremists, the mobs that set her ablaze. What is the justice we are talking about here? Nnamdi Kanu is the least of our problems in this country. Is the least of our problems. Our brothers, our fathers are being sent, soldiers are being sent to die for nothing. You all saw the general that was killed. So where is the justice that we are talking about? Where is the justice? Nnamdi Kanu shine masalamu a Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu shine masalamu a Nigeria. Allah ba yana kallon mu. Allah yana kallon mu. God is watching. God is watching. Everyone that is seeing the injustice in this country, that is clapping hands for it, I pray for you this morning. You and your family will have a taste of injustice. You and your family will have a taste of injustice. Christians are being unalive every day in Benue, in Plateau, in Niger. Just name it. People are living in fear. Christians who are converting are living in fear. They are after their life. Everywhere is fear. Bandits are coming out to make live videos. A lot of Islamic scholars are coming out openly to have a meeting with bandits. And up till today, nobody have called them for questioning. Justice. Where is the justice system we are talking about here? Nnamdi Kanu, is it our problem? Is Nnamdi Kanu our problem? You people are not going after those who are killing people, who are coming out to do live videos, who are coming out to openly sympathize with terrorists and bandits. We have seen a lot of terrorist sympathizers openly hurry up Akirasu for questioning, but God is watching. God is watching. Everyone that is supporting injustice in this country, Father, in the name of Jesus, I decree they shall have a taste of it. Their family members will have a taste of it. Their children will have a taste of injustice. Their loved ones will have a taste of injustice. In the name of Jesus, release Nnamdi Kanu.
Welcome back once again. You listen attentively to this northern lady who went as far as praying for Nnamdi Kanu's release because she has actually seen the marginalization the Igbos are actually facing. That every appointment is not being issued to them, but yet they are stating that Nnamdi Kanu is the one destabilizing a lot of things. Meanwhile, the man is quite innocent. And for crying out loud, this shows that Nnamdi Kanu is vindicated ahead of his appeal. Today being Wednesday, February 25th, 2026 is marking 1,230 days since Nnamdi Kanu defeated Nigeria in her court, and since then Nnamdi Kanu is still being held illegally, and that is exactly what is now happening. Now, ahead of Nnamdi Kanu's appeal, a lot of persons have applauded Nnamdi Kanu by filing a lot of reasons at which his appeal needs to be adhered, because on that November 20th, 2025, when Justice John Somotosho of the Federal High Court sentenced Nnamdi Kanu to life imprisonment, He is currently being held at the Sokoto Correctional Center after his application to be transferred is even being deferred and denied. This is quite shocking. Is this not a clear indication that Nnamdi Kanu is facing a lot while even under trial and being convicted? That is exactly what is happening. Look at Peter Obi, who went to Edo State. Meanwhile, the governor has initially stated that Peter Obi's safety in Edo State is questioned. Now Peter Obi went to Edo State to welcome the newly defected members, of which the former Labour Party governorship candidate Apata, decamped to ADC. And when Peter Obi got there, sporadically talks shot at him and destroyed the vehicles and everything. Everything is actually happening to an Igbo man. Meanwhile, the city boys are there moving around. They are not even, they are there for their personal interests. Everything is actually happening. Once Nnamdi Kanu stated that the Igbos are quite marginalized has been vindicated by this statement made by Fayose Isaac. Write on the comment section, what is your take towards everything that has been discussed? If this is your first time meeting this channel, do it often, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell and click on the like button so let's get informations promptly when we drop them here. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.